listen. First, I want to say thank you for being here. If you have the ability to share out, please share us out on all of your social medias if you have the ability to. Now, I do want to make a disclaimer. What we may be talking about may be offensive to some people. So I want to give you the heads up. If you get offended easily, you may not want to be in this live stream. But this live stream is for everyone, okay? So I need you to be aware that it may be offensive to your sensibility, okay? So I do want to let you know that. So we're going to start at the top. We're going to welcome everybody in, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about my guests, and then we're going to bring them up, and we're going to get right into this conversation. So first, we got the Stream Elements bot running. Thank you so much for being here, Alejandro. We got Peace and Love. Hey, sis. How you doing? Thank you for being here. We got Parker. What up, Parker? Hi. We got Deb Rose in the building. What's up, Deb Rose? How are you? How are you? Thank you all for being here. We got Lori Reamer. Wow! How are you? Welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. We got 345 Berry. I saw you live on Instagram, Vern, earlier today. Thank you. Yes. I saw you in there. How are you? We got Lynn's. I'm sorry, something popped up on my screen. Lynn's Life Lessons. What's up? How are you? Welcome in. Welcome in. We got Merly Rosa. Merly, where you been? How you doing? Welcome in. We got my girl Nepturu. What up, sis? Nepturu is also a mod and a member, guys. If you members are here, thank you very much. If you're a mod, thank you very much for being here. Again, I will be repeating this throughout the live. Some of the things we may be speaking of may be offensive. So if you are offended easily about worldly issues, you may not want to be here, okay? So I do want to let you know that ahead of time. Hey, Sharon, how you doing? But I would like you all to chime in on our talk that we're going to be having on this dialogue. Please chime in. So I'm looking to see who else is here. If I'm missing you, we got Brooklyn Mac in the building, 718 into his house. What's up? What's up? How are you? Thank you for being here so much. Okay, guys, so we're getting ready to get started. Again, mods, please look out in the chat for any bots that we get. So first, I'm going to tell you his channel is linked, guys, in the top of this live stream. And also the channel is linked in the description, okay? So I'm going to read to you guys a little bit of the description, and it is a little bit off of his actual page on YouTube. So give me a second. Let me grab it here. Whoops. I don't want that. Nope, I don't want that. The sound came on. Sorry about that. So here we go. His name is CCNTV is his channel name. And why is it not letting me see my description box? Here it goes. And his name is Christian, okay? So this is a very serious topic and may be a trigger for some of you people, okay? So please be aware. So myself and CCNTV, Christian, he talks about elevating the political awareness of the people. He is a man of integrity with a great vision. If you've seen the thumbnail, he is a big political junkie who is looking to elevate the political awareness of the people. So please go to his channel, go and subscribe and listen to what he's talking about. It's also very, very informative. And also on the thumbnail, you'll see I said, stay woke. We're going to talk about what does staying woke mean, okay? So before I bring him up, guys, y'all know how we're going to welcome in our guests. Come on, y'all. Put those confettis, put those drum rolls, put some hearts, put all that good stuff in the chat. Once I see 3 or 4, we're going to bring them up. So let's show some love and welcome in our guests. I'm going to put in my confetti right now. I'm going to put in my balloons, my stars. Come on, the dancing ladies, put in some fire emojis, put in all that good stuff in the chat. And then we will get started. Barry said, may I ask about that? I do get easily offended and sometimes because I'm autism. Okay, then you may not want to be here, Barry. Again, that's why I said it ahead of time. If you get offended, then you may want to leave the live stream because I don't want to offend you, but I do want to speak our mind, okay? So please, 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 if you get offended easily, please do not be in this live stream. Hey, AKA James, what's up? Hey, Life Magical Journey. My twin is in the building. What's up, sis? How are you? How are you? Got Tristan Bell. What up? Guys, please share the live out. You see the love coming in for Tristan, for Christian. Y'all see the love coming in. Thank you guys for CCNTV. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So guys, again, thank you for being here. We are going to be talking about social injustice. We're going to be talking about life issues, particularly what is associated to us, meaning people of color. So again, if you get offended, I'm going to ask you to please leave the live stream, okay? So guys, thank you all for being here. We are going to, hey, Nate, how are you? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. How are you? How are you? Okay, guys, so we are going, but I can still join your other live. Yes. I'm not blocking you, Barry. I just don't want you to be here because we're adults and we may be saying things that you may take offensively, okay? So, but yes, you'll still be able to join the other lives, okay? So with that said, guys, thank you all for being here. We are going to welcome in our guest. His YouTube channel name is CCNTV. His name is Christian. Please welcome him into the live stream, guys. He is here. Woo! I'm so excited. How are you? Thank you for being here and sharing your knowledge and opening up to us. Yes, thank you, Sharon. Thank you so much. Yes, sensitive topic, guys. Very sensitive. Please, please, please. So tell us a little bit about you. What I want to know first is what is your name and where are you from? So let's start there. Oh, I can't hear you. Are you on mute?
All right.
Yep, unmute your mic. Can't unmute your guest because they chose to mute. Yeah. It says you're on mute. Oh, there you go. Say something.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Because he kept saying I was muted, unmuted. All right. So thank you so much for having me. Definitely an honor to be here. Welcome to everybody in the chat. Once again, thank you for having me. Well, my name is Christian. It's Tony Christian, actually. I do have two first names. I'm a twin.
Wait. Yes. I didn't know that you're a twin.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I am a twin. I have a twin sister. I was born and raised in Queens, New York.
Wait a minute. Stop. Hold the phone. Shut up. Wait a minute. Hold on. I got to put the book up for a minute. I'm sorry. You are not from Queens.
I am from Queens, South Ozone Park.
Queens.
South Ozone.
Shut up. I'm from St. Albans, Jamaica.
Oh, really?
Oh! I did not know that.
Yeah. My sister used to live in Laurelton.
Oh, my God.
My older sister lives in Laurelton.
Yes.
Yeah. And I've lived in Queens forever.
Right, I know I liked you for a reason.
Yeah. So after graduating high school, I left home to go to college. That was a bit of a debate because my parents wanted me to stay close to home, but they wanted me to stay in New York. So it was like, you can go to Albany, you can go, like, that's 6 hours away. It's the same difference. I wanted to go to a family school. Our family school is actually Hampton. But my mother was against that. She said it was too far. I said, well, I'm leaving. So we're just going to have to pick an in-between. And it just happened to be Lincoln University at the time. So that is where I got my undergraduate.
What high school you went to?
Thomas Edison.
I went to Jamaica. Shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up. Oh, my God. Right next door.
Oh, right. Your backyard, literally.
Oh,
Your
see,
backyard.
we're going to have to talk offline now.
Yeah, definitely.
My goodness. Oh, man. You got me stoked now, for real.
So, yeah, after that, I went back home for a while, and then my goal was to leave the home before I was 25, and that's what my plan was to do. And, I did it. I came out to Maryland, and I've been here ever since. So that's how I
Okay.
ended up here in Maryland.
Now, what part of Maryland? My sister used to live in Silver Springs. You know where that is?
I'm not too far from there.
Okay.
I'm Frederick, so that's
Okay.
not too far. It's in the
right.
same area.
So you're not there from where the housewives are, huh?
No, no, I'm not in the Potomac area, but
Not Potomac.
Yeah.
Welcome in, everyone. I see you guys coming in. I will pop your name on the screen. I do want to say again, and my mods will be saying it, and I will post it on the screen also. This is a very sensitive topic, so some of you may get offended. If you get offended easily, please, I'm going to ask you not to stay in the stream, okay? So please be aware of that, because we're going to be talking about social issues, and you know, we don't want to have to hold our tongue because we want it to be heard. So I am telling you this ahead of time, okay? So thank you. So did you grow up with brothers and sisters and a mom and dad in the home?
Yes, I did. I grew up with, of course, like I said, my twin sister, older brother, mom, and my stepdad raised me. My father wound up leaving when we were about 3 or 4. But you know, that's a whole nother story. But you know, my mother was able to persevere and raise us well, and you know, put us through school and do what she needed to do to raise men and women that she wanted to see in the world. And so for that, I am eternally grateful.
Oh, that's awesome. So when you went to college, what did you go to college for to start, and what did you end up graduating in?
I went to study history and politics, and that's what I graduated in.
Okay.
So
okay. You know, we always change our major like 12 times.
No,
so.
I was going to add religion. I did take a lot of religion courses just because I had a professor that really pushed me. And I was so interested in religion growing up in the church. You know, you're used and taught this one particular way, and to study so many and realize that they're all similar. They all have a thread to them that is very similar. And yet in some situations in details is different. But the fact that they were all the same was definitely interesting to me. So I wanted to know in all the facets that I found to be similar to my own practices. It was intriguing to me. So I was literally close to having a double minor in religion. I do have one in African American studies, of course, but I was definitely close.
So when you were growing up religious, what religion were you raised as?
Oh, Baptist and Pentecostal.
Yep, me too. Baptist and Pentecostal. Yep.
Yeah.
Man, listen, this is my brother. I don't care what nobody says. I knew I liked you for a reason. I always like, why am I so connected to him? That's why we got so much in common.
We might be related too. Who knows? I don't know.
Listen, you know my story. You know I'm adopted.
Right.
We could be, listen.
Right.
We could be cousins somewhere down the line.
That's what I'm saying. I just found a lot of my other relatives on my biological father's side about 10 years ago, and I still, you know, run into some relatives. So that's why I say that all the time.
Okay. Did you do Ancestry?
I did do an Ancestry. I did that, and it really just came back with a lot of stuff that I didn't know. As far as I'm like 30 some odd percent was it African from Benin or something like that, and then like European, like 25% European, which was a bit of a shock to me. Not really though, because I know more of my mother's history and her family side, and I do know that they were mulatto, and my great great grandfather's mother was given away to another man for him to raise her son because he couldn't. He was a wealthy Irishman, and he could not, you know, do that.
Our history, man, is so.
It's really, yeah. It really is, yeah. Really
Sharon said, "Praise God, Christian." Yes, Sharon, you know that's right. So we're going to get into this topic, guys, of social injustice, things that go on in the community work. And then I'm going to show you something that I found today. 2 things on TikTok. On TikTok. I'm gonna play it because it's not music, so I might not get in trouble because it's a short clip. If I think it's gonna be an issue, I'll just say what they're saying. But we're gonna get into that. So, as you guys know, a lot of people in the Black community say "stay woke." So, what does "stay woke" mean? So, I'm gonna read you what it says, quote unquote, in the dictionary. If anybody even reads the dictionary anymore, okay. So, this is from the Oxford language. It says "woke." It says alert to injustice in society, especially racism. We need to stay angry and stay woke. This is what it says in there. So for me, I agree to a point of we need to stand up for what is right. Wrong is wrong, is right is right. I don't care what color you are. So for me, when I was growing up in Queens, actually, I went to PS 216. It was way out in Flushing. Yeah, George J. Ryan. Yeah. Okay, they were busing people, and there was only like 5 of us Black kids. And I became friends with a girl, a white girl. Her name was Patrina Crispino. If you out there, Patrina, please hit me up. But yes. And we used to wear Capizios. We used to go to Bloomingdale's. We used to cut school, go to the Bagel Nosh. Okay, so this is the Queens. You know what I'm talking about. But guess what? I could never go to her house because her parents were like, don't bring that Black person, y'all know what I mean, to the house. But she and we're kids, you know, we're 11, 12, 13. We don't know. We just know we are friends. We like each other and we get along. Right. So as we're in school, and one day we weren't playing hooky. I think we had got out early or something. And I was like, let me go to your house. I got to run to the bathroom or whatever. We just wanted. And she was like, I can't let you in my house. And I was like, why? Like, you got a dog? Because, you know, she was like, no, my parents always said never bring a Black person to the house. And that broke my heart so bad. Can you imagine a 13-year-old hearing that? My heart broke. And I wasn't mad at her. Right. I was mad at the situation of how could this go on? So of course I went home and told my mom and dad, but it's like, how do you handle that at such a young age that all you know is this is my friend and she just happened to be a different color? So have you ever experienced maybe college or before you went to college, someone of a different race to your friend? Because I know, you know, Edison, there was a lot of Asians and, you know, right there where we went to school at. Yeah. So did you ever experience a different racial equality where you felt that, wow, their parents wouldn't accept me because I'm Black?
Honestly, no, I didn't feel that in school. That kind of happened early on. Like when we were teenagers, my mom would let us go to the movies by ourselves, and we went to Cross Bay because we were from Howard Beach. So we would go to Cross Bay a lot.
Valley Stream.
Right. Once we were able to, you know, get on the bus and do that whole thing, we would do it and think we were grown. So this particular time, we went to the movies, and my sister and her friends needed change. And so I was like, okay, let's just go into the pharmacy. It was a Jewish pharmacy on the corner. I don't think they're there anymore last time I went. And I'm like, okay, didn't think nothing of it. We just go into the store. And he's like, no, y'all have to come in one at a time. So I'm like, and again, I didn't think anything of it. I realized where we were and where we were around. So it was just like, okay, whatever, if this is whatever. So I do what I have to do. I come out and my sister goes in, and these 2 white kids with book bags come in, go directly in the store. I don't see one come out, you know, the same kind of thing that he had us do. So I immediately went in there and grabbed my sister up and said, nope, we're not getting change in here. Don't worry about it. Let's call mom. Let's, you know, do something else. And I was just like, how do you have an establishment here like this and do this? I mean, I was so fired up. I think I talked to my mom for like a whole week that I didn't understand how somebody could have an establishment and treat children that way. Yes. It was literally like, you know, like as if we were adults the way he spoke to us. And it was like, it didn't dawn on me at first until I seen the other kids our same age walk in there. And none of them came back out. And it was like, okay, we got to check this. So
I remember one time we went to Alabama. Me, my mom, my dad. My dad was military, and we were walking down a dirt road. Of course, you know, back in those days they had dirt roads, and a car came by. And of course, I'm little. I don't know. I'm just walking down the dirt road, and I heard my mother say, "Get out the street." And I'm like, you know, okay, there's no cars. We're in the dirt road. Like what? And the car was coming down really, really fast, and they threw cans at us and was like the N word, like, you know, get out of here. And I was like, who are they calling that? Like, what does that mean? Like, you know, because you're a kid. You're like, what? Right. And then I seen like the expression on my mom's face and my dad's face, and I'm like, something ain't right. And it was like, nah, we're not going to that store. We're just going to turn around for our safety. And it's like, people don't understand what some Black people went through growing up, or our parents and our great grandparents. So when you see us and we say, stay woke, this is what we mean. Now, do not get me wrong. It is not every white person. I do not agree with that. Right. Just like I don't agree with every Black person is the N-word. Yeah. However, there are some that are racist, that are prejudiced, and those are the ones that I'm referring to. Right. Because I have grandchildren. All right. Me and my husband is pro-Black, black on black on black on black. But guess what? Our grandkids are half white, half Puerto Rican, half Native American. Right. So how could I dare be prejudiced when I have my own flesh and blood? And guess what? When they see Nana, they don't see my Black Nana. They see Nana.
Right. Nana, period.
So, you know, it's not every white person. So, or every person that's not Black. Let me put it like that, because there's other people that could be racist too. So, you know, we want to make that very clear. Again, guys, thank everyone in the chat for being here. We are talking about a very sensitive subject. So if you are offended easily, I'm going to ask you to please leave the chat. If not, please join in the conversation. If you have a question, please put the green heart, because I may not see it. And if I don't welcome you in, particularly each on your own, my mods will be welcoming you in. Hey, officially Coco, how you doing? Hey, Merly, I seen Eat to Live. Hey, sis, how are you? Again, thank you all. I still have folks yell the N-word at me. Says, what, Sharon? Now, Sharon is married to a Caucasian man, and that has to be unnerving for someone to. I couldn't even imagine someone calling me that in this day and age. Well, like, you can't think of any other word to say to me like that. That tells me how good your vocabulary is. If that's the only word that you can say to me.
That part is true.
No, you know. Hey, Uniquely Lavish, how you doing? So now we're gonna get into this. So I sent you that video of the men, and it was like a rapper. And remember, I sent it to you. It was a rapper, and he had all of the people that passed away.
Yeah.
That video. When I saw it, the first thing I said, I got to send this to you. Yeah. So it's kind of like the DMX video with the ladies, but it was promoting all of the Black people that died from the social injustice. And I can't play it, unfortunately, guys. But if you want to see it, ask me for it and I'll send it to you. But I just can't play it because it has music in it and it has these people's faces. But we're going to get into that more. And what was your thought when you saw that? Because I literally cried. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that.
No, it was very powerful. It was very powerful on one hand, but on the other hand, it did make me upset. Yes. There are so many and so many names that we don't know, because there were some faces that I didn't even know and recognize. That was like, wow, when did this happen? Which furthered me to do research and find out the other people that were named. But it's sad, you know, it's sad that we have to promote human beings and their lives and their existence on this planet. All because an action from someone who honestly, truly did not see them as human. Didn't see them as human, because the logical explanation to that is because if you saw someone that looked like you would think twice about harming them. Even when you're trying to find out information or what have you. We've seen tons of videos of officers with their same white counterparts and they even accost them differently. They do not immediately think danger. Let me get out my gun and put 2 bullets in them. They don't think that. They will pull out their gun, but they will talk them down. They will go back and forth. They'll do anything they can before they resort to actual deadly force. But with us, it is immediately deadly force on site. Any move you make, any kind of thing you do that's against what we deem to be respectful, then it's deadly force, which it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate.
And we're going to get into that also. So, but before we go there, do you think, in your honest opinion, there's a difference between how Martin Luther King Jr. had the sensibility about injustice and the way Malcolm X had it? Do you think it's a difference, or you think they were both doing the same, just in a different way?
Right. Yeah, they're both were doing the same thing. I would suggest anyone to, and that's a good question, to read A Dream and a Nightmare by James H. Cone. Great book. It basically talks about...
Hold on, I gotta type that in the chat. Okay, yeah, because they need to know that. Say the name of it again.
It's A Dream and a Nightmare by James H. Cone.
Okay, A Dream and a Nightmare. I'm sorry, by who?
James H. Cone.
Okay, guys, I just put it in the chat. Oh, that sounds like an amazing one.
It does, because it talks about the steps Martin took to fight for voting rights, which he really was just fighting for the right to vote. All this kind of like integration and things. People were pretty much very well to do with their own situations. They just wanted the equal situation. If the white kids was able to have fresh books and clean, schools and uniforms and all this, they just wanted the same thing for their kids. So that really wasn't the issue. And so Martin used the nonviolence to bring attention, only because then he was able to garner the actual media attention, right? Which then woke to everybody else to go, oh, they really treat people like that down in the South? Oh my gosh, which made some white folks even, clutch themselves and go, we don't act like that. We don't treat people like that. And it's like, yeah, but you do, And later on, once Martin started to realize that a lot of people, and this is why when you were saying, people, please don't be offended because we're going to talk about sensitive stuff. I'm not here to divide anyone, but what I'm saying to you is if you are on the other side and this is going on and you're not speaking up about it, then you are complicit to what is happening. And you are just as much a part of the problem. If you don't intervene and stand up and say, hey, this is wrong, this should not be happening, when you see it in clear day, when you're out in the restaurant and you hear these people talking and having a good time and somebody walks over to them and tells them they have to be quiet, then they go get the manager and you say nothing and you sit quietly by and allow someone to think they have the authority to do that, you are just as complicit. So in this book, in a nutshell, Martin was that way. And then he realized towards the end, they felt like, oh, well, you got the Voting Rights Act. That's good enough. Good job. And he's like, no, I have more to do. There's poor people everywhere. It's more about the injustice everywhere. It's not just here. It's not just at this moment. We're not done, but they were done and they walked away from him. So then he started to change his thought process and go, well, man, I should have been more militant like a Malcolm. And even in Malcolm's situation, he realized where he would not be able to do this by no means necessary by himself. He would need to have a correlation of people to help push that message. So once he, was able to see that, granted, we know it's without saying that not all people are one way or the other. We know that, but the system that we are dealing with, it's vast. So we don't know who is in. We're talking about there is, it's not just racism in the criminal justice system. We're talking about politically. We're talking about medically with healthcare, doctors.
We're gonna get into all that. Yep.
It's so big that it's not even a game of
right.
how much this has been indebted and embedded in this country, that it's not nothing that a Band-Aid is going to heal. It's really not even anything that reparations for people will heal, but it's a start to have people on, you know what, if everybody's equal, like it was supposed to be written, then everybody should be equal, period. So give people their equal rate, wages and things that they should have gotten, or their ancestors should have gotten, like you've done everybody else. Period.
But go ahead. So let me read a few things in the chat, and then we're going to talk about ageism and housing discrimination, which people think is not going on, but we're going to get into that. Hold on, guys. So Sharon said we are still 3/5 of a person. Sad stuff. Oh my God. Yes. Thank you, Eat to Live Strong, for dropping his channel. Again, guys, his channel is pinned to the top of this live stream, and it's also in the description. Please go check out his channel. His name is Christian, and he is of CCNTV. He's also part of Vernes Kings, okay? Vernes Young Closet King. So go watch that video. Yes, he's in there, my brother. Hey, Healthy G Mom, how are you? How are you? The Kings of Vernes Young Closet. Yes, the book is called A Dream and a Nightmare by James H. Combs, C-O-M-B. Or that's spelled wrong?
Yes.
Listen, I got to get that, y'all. Listen, go get that book. We might speak about it, talk on it. Healthy G-Mon said they were both doing the same thing in a different way. Yes, I agree. Lynn said, thank you, we'll be reading. Yes, and this is what it's all about, being informative, okay? Being informative. Healthy G-Mom says, yes, and it's nothing wrong with having a better life for themselves and their children. Of course not.
Yes, right.
Nothing wrong with that. Thank you so much, Sharon. Thank you. My mods are amazing. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. My mods don't play. The Booski compound is everything. No, amen. It's not just about voting. It's not.
No, it's really not.
I was on TikTok, just so happened today, and I forgot that I went through this. So I'm not going to show the lady's face, but I will play her voice so you can hear what she said. And this really kind of like pissed me off today when I heard it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So let me find it first, because I definitely saved it. I said, oh yeah, we got to talk about that. It's two things we got to talk about. So listen up, guys. I'm going to turn my volume up so you can hear. And I'm going to turn this one up so you can hear. And just listen. Just listen.
1968. I was almost turning 22, starting my first adventure on searching for an apartment. I started looking in the classified ads, and I ran across an ad that said apartment for rent. I called the number, the lady answered, and she says, yes, we do have an apartment. I got in my little car, drove over there, knocked on the door, and this little old white lady answered the door. And I told her I was here to inquire about your apartment for rent. She paused for a second, and she says, we don't have any apartments for rent. And I says, well, I just called a little while ago, and someone told me that there was an available apartment. And then again, she says, we don't have any apartments for rent. And then I says, well, it was in the classified ad. And she says, we don't have any apartments for rent. And then I paused for a second, and then she paused, and then she says, are you married? And I said, no, I'm not. Well, we don't rent to single girls. You have to be married. And then I said, okay, and I walked away. And then I started thinking, is this the way it's going to be in order for me to find an apartment? But luckily, it was not. I eventually found an apartment. And then I thought, well, I don't know if the lady had a right to rent to who she wanted to. You called and they say, yes, they have something. You get there, they say no. They ask you if you're married. If you're not married, they say no. I guess in those times, that's the way it was. And maybe they had a right. I don't know if it was discrimination or they had a right to choose who they wanted and who they didn't want. What do you think?
Okay, so it says my Black experience, 1968, searching for an apartment. Now, where I live at now, I moved up here in 1998. So this had to be about 1998. So this had to be about 99 or 2000. Okay. I was going to look for an apartment. Me and my sister-in-law, we were driving her car, and it was a sign in front of a beautiful home, apartment for rent. I told my sister, stop. My sister, I said, stop, pull over. I see something. I would love to live over here. This is so nice. So I said, the only thing we'll have to worry about is the cost. And she was like, I don't think it's going to cost much. Go for it. And I was like, yep. Went there, walked up. It was a white lady and a white man. The white man grabbed the sign and put it behind his back. So I said, oh, yeah, thank you. I said, yep, I was coming for the apartment. You know, I'm being cool. And he was like, ain't no apartment here for rent. And I said, what are you talking about? He's like, ain't no apartment. I said, but sir, you got to sign here. Nope, this ain't. I said, oh, did you just rent it? He goes, no, I never had an apartment for rent. Me and my sister are looking. I was like, let's go. Now, I ain't going to lie. I'm going to be honest. When I got in the car, I called them every name in the book. Yes, I did. I'm going to be honest. Y'all know I'm transparent. I did. I said, you see of a... Yes. But with this lady, was a beautiful Black lady with gray hair, you know, like somebody's grandma. Beautiful lady. And she said this happened to her when she was 22 years old in 1968. This is just, 15, 20 years ago. How is this still possible for housing discrimination?
Because it goes unreported. And that's the problem. A lot of people, it's like nobody's saying that you have to stand up and lead the charge, but you have to stand up in your own right. When you are discriminated against, stand up and fight, and stand up and, you know, wherever it goes, wherever it leads, follow it through. That way that person will know, even if it's just that one person, that no, you're not the one, not today, not ever. Just as you were talking about the housing discrimination, it made me think of the Trumps, who were able to make a lot of money discriminating against people. I mean, and now here you are, a former president, but nobody talks about that. I mean, it was mentioned once and then it was swept under the rug like nothing happened. You're not allowed to discriminate, right? It's illegal. However, they work around it. If people don't, you know, stand up and say, hey, I went for this apartment and they said this, and you don't go after your local politicians. And this is where all the local stuff matters, because you have to hound them. If you don't hound them and knock down their doors just like the others do when they want potholes in the areas cleared and all that kind of stuff, nothing will get done. Nobody's going to come down and save us and make things better for us but us. And we have to really get that. You know, we've been so inundated with this whole Messiah kind of mythology that, you know, this Messiah is going to come and save us. But what are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? If God is in us and we are, you know, if God is in us and we are part of God, then what are we doing? How could you be waiting for something that's already inside you? So with the housing discrimination and many other things, redlining has been a huge markup for the others. And I'll just say that. And of course it has been since the New Deal, when it was created. It was created to give even poor whites a leg up. They were able to go to school for free. Nobody talks about that. But now when they mention having tuition-free college, it's like, oh, that's socialism. How is it socialism when your grandparents was able to do it? Go to school, get education, still have and have a house that they can hand down to you. You hand it down to your kids and hand it down to your kids while you have that house and a vacation house and this house and that house, and you wondering why. You talk about there's no economic gap. There's a huge gap because you're able to leave things to your people, and we're not. And like, for example, when the lady said, the white lady asked, well, are you married? We were not allowed to marry and be in some of those programs.
You better speak that, boy. You better go ahead.
So we weren't allowed to marry and be in those programs. Now, I will say, too, we need to take a bit of accountability pie on that. Okay, cool. If you knew your wife wanted, if y'all was struggling and you needed aid to do that, okay, you couldn't, be together or live in the same house in order to get the whatever was needed. All right, you could have worked the system just like everybody else. All right, you go stay with cousin so-and-so while we work this out here, and you continue to work and support the family and do what you need to do. Not saying that all families didn't do that, but a lot of them was like, well, that's what destroyed the Black family. No. We could have worked the system like everybody else does and kind of, made it work for us. But it's just, it really is sad how none of this is like pushed to where it's making a move and actually changing. We talk about it and we talk about it till we blue in the face. We go around in circles, but nothing is being done. We can all do our part. We can all be a voice. So I just wish people would just do that. It doesn't take much. Like the faith of a mustard seed is the same way. All it takes that's all it takes.
That's all. So exactly. I always say to people, I have a voice and I will be heard. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're from New York like me.
Right.
Back in the day, and I'm going to say about 25, 30 years ago, right? Brooklyn, quote unquote.
Oh my gosh.
Us. It was black. Yeah. It was, come on, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Bed-Stuy. Now there's some parts of Brooklyn that was white.
That was white. Yeah.
The black areas.
Yeah.
Bed-Stuy, Crown Heights, all that was black, right? It was either us or it was Haitians or Jamaicans or right?
West Indians. Yeah.
Have you been to Brooklyn lately? It's so gentrified now with white people. I'm like,
stadiums and Tiffany's and stores that have never graced our neighborhoods ever. We've never had a Starbucks in our neighborhoods. We've never had Tiffany's in our neighborhood. Anything that we had to go get, you had to go to the malls and actually get it. We never was able to take a bus down the street and actually go shopping. It always had to be at the actual mall. And when they do that, they of course kick the low income families out and put them where? In the suburbs. And then that creates a problem because those in the suburbs say, oh, well, you're bringing all these people in here. Where do you expect them to go?
Exactly. Where do you there you go. Thanks, Solomon, man. I was talking about you earlier. Yes. So let's talk about voting rights. So we know back in the 60s and the 50s and the 40s, it was terrible for our kind to vote and to make it count. I still think it is not that much of a difference. Don't get me wrong. It's gotten better. Yes. But I still think if you can move mailboxes out of an area on flatbed trucks when it's voting season, I ain't never seen nobody move no mailbox.
Right. And nothing was talked about it until it got exposed, but he had already done it.
Come on
He
now.
had already done it. So when they started talking about it, it was already too late, pretty much for a lot of the areas.
Come on.
But again, with voting rights, you have politicians, and this is again where voting locally and voting period counts. You have politicians structuring how voting rights for Americans should be.
Yeah.
And we sit here every day and talk about, oh, my vote doesn't count. How? When you got people in Washington turning red to make sure that they rip it out of your hands.
That's right.
So it's almost like if we do nothing, they win. We have to do something. We have to do something to combat them from doing what they're doing. Yes, it's not going to happen overnight. Of course it's not. But again, if we keep pressing, they already know that the voting block that they have, especially in the Democratic Party, is something they need to hold on to. They know this. That is why, that talk even came up when the justice was talking about leaving, that they were going to replace it with a Black woman. He knows why he said that. And whether he followed through with it or not, or the Senate kicks it out, all it's going to be is, the Senate, it didn't go through in the Senate, but I gave you what I promised you. You know what I'm saying? As long as he can push that out there, that's what he's going to push for.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to make sure that we hold these people accountable, whether we voted for them or not. Once they're in there, they're in there. So just like they go and, they go to their politicians when they want something done, whether they voted for them or not, we need to do the same thing. Not waiting for the people that we vote for to then want to question them or ask them to do something. But if you didn't vote for them, you don't care what they do. Come on, that's crazy. That's crazy, because at the end of the day, they still gonna do what they want to do with your pockets or with your areas, regardless. So what we need to do is be more active, the same way we would with our children in school. We need to be on that person's neck, be on that teacher's neck, the same way. If you're
they vote more for American Idol than they do for
anything else.
Ita Show says he live at the congressman office. Listen, I hear you. So let's talk about jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So I work in corporate. Okay. Even till this day, I'm the only Black person in my department. I don't understand how this is 2022, but okay. I will say I have never felt someone looking at me because I'm Black and thinking I'm different. However, I have felt someone get offended for me from someone else when I'm like, first of all, if you wasn't ear hustling, you would know that it was kind of a joke between me and the white person, but they took it offensive and they actually got that person in trouble. And so I had to defend them and be like, it was not like that. Because we understood a language between us. Right. But again, I still think I shouldn't be the only Black person, especially a Black woman, not even a Black man. I'm the only Black woman in a department of corporate America in 2022. So what is your idea, or have you ever been the only Black person in a job where you're like, I can't even be like, what up, man? Because they're gonna be like, oh my God, her peeps. I'm like, her peeps? What are you talking about?
I have been the only Black male in an office full of white women, an office full of white people on a higher level, and it's always been an issue, especially, unfortunately, with me, with white women. And I don't know if maybe it's my assertiveness, but a lot of times I'm there to do a job, and that's what I'm there to do. So all the, sometimes when you try to befriend and talk about, shows or things of that nature, I'm not here to, I'm not here to be your friend. We're here to work. We're here to do a job, and that's what it is.
Get my check and leave.
Right. I've noticed that a lot of times, even subordinates of mine would feel some type of way and try to go above me, and it'd be like, but this is job related. It had nothing to do. Like, did you say anything? No. No. All I did was correct information.
Hello.
So I'm confused. And they'll, we'll go back into and it's like, okay, well, can you sign this? I'm not signing anything. No, thank you.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Are you trying to tell me they try to write you up for speaking your voice?
Yeah, they do.
No.
So no, we don't sign those. I keep it very professional at all times, but they want a particular type, if and especially if you happen to be Black and a part of the community, they want you to either be, hey girl, and all this other kind of stuff. And that's just not me. That's not who I am. So I'm not giving you that. Like I said, I'm here to do a job, and that's what I'm here to do. So there's no reason for us to, hi and bye. I'm always respectful. Hi, bye, good morning, and all that stuff. But all the extra we don't need to do. And they always feel some way. And it's like, and one of my friends, she happened to be working in the office in this different wing as mine, but she would come over. And she said one day an employee stopped her and said, how did you get him to talk to you? She was like, how did you get him to talk to you? How did you get him to be friends? She was like, what are you talking about? Just because for me, it's just be yourself. But if I know that there's an agenda here, I really just, okay. Because I'm looking at the office too, like, why am I the only one here? Then I realized, oh, okay, I'm the only one to make it look like, look, we're all inclusive as I'm standing here in the picture with the only face. So I said, okay, I know what this is, but what I'm going to do is show you that I'm not just that. I'm here. I'm credentialed to be here. And this is how I'm going to handle this.
That's right.
So when they don't feel like, you know, because their theory is you're lazy, you're laid back, you don't take anything seriously. So when you do that and you prove them wrong, then they have to then. I was working at Best Buy years ago when I transferred out of college. I was working there, and then I transferred back to New York when I moved back home, very briefly. But the general manager would say, "Oh, he's so high maintenance." And my manager told me, and I said, "What?" I said, "Okay." I said, "All right." And I didn't say anything. Part of me, because I've always been like, "What?" I'd knock on your door in a minute and go, like, what you go, I don't need this job. You know, like my mother wants me to have this job, but I don't need this job. However, it was just like, okay, why is she saying this? Mm-hmm. What is her reasoning to say this? Because she knows that I'm not that type of employee that's just going to be like, okay, sure, whatever you say. No, I question everything. So it's just, you know, we have to start as a people. We just have to start questioning everything. Everything is not an undercover agenda. Some of these things, truthfully, honestly, have been happening for so long. And just because you have now become aware of it does not mean that it just started happening when you became aware of it.
I'm going to talk about two more things on the job. I want you to think about this one. Have you ever had a project, not so much stolen from you, but someone else take credit for your work? Don't answer yet. Hold on. So Eat to Live Strong said, I've been in my neighborhood for 30 years and we're the only Black family. Nate says, you're keeping it professional comes across as being aggressive. Nate, we're going to get into that one. Hold on. Yeah. Welcome in, everybody. If I did not say hello. Hey, Slim, I seen you come in. What's up, King? How are you? Thank you all for being here. We are interviewing or chatting, having a dialogue with Christian of CCNTV. His link is pinned to the top of this live stream and also in the description box. Please, please, please go check my brother out. He's also a king of Vernes Junk Closet, and he really is my brother or cousin. He probably my cousin because we got too much in common. So really let me tell you, I'm like, what? I didn't know some of these things, but it's too close. We definitely going to be talking when we get up here. But check him out, guys. I have always been interested in him and his channel, and never knew why I had such a connection. Sometimes you don't know why. I believe some things are just fate. Yeah. And I've always, ever since I was like, why am I so drawn to you? So now I know we come from the same place. We come from the same hood. Don't play. We went to the same school next door to each other. What? Yeah. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. I did not know this. I'm excited. But yes, Nate, sometimes for us, people of color, I would say men, but I'm going to say more for a Black woman because that's the only thing I can talk of. I can't talk about for his thing. But from a Black woman, I get, oh my God, you're always dressed up. Yeah. Oh my God, your hair always looks nice. Oh my God, you always. I'm like, am I supposed to dress like a bum? I'm like, well, what did the lady look like before I came? They was like, she didn't dress up. She didn't wear this. Well, this is all the professional clothes that I have. I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? I can't dress down. I got like 2 pair of jeans. All my clothes are dress clothes. You know what? I'm a business person. You never know when I have to get called to a meeting when I get off work. Yeah. Somebody might want to holler at me for a business propositions. I can't go to work looking like anything. I have to be prepared. So for me, it is a different mindset, and people of a different color look at you. Like you said, if they say, oh, can I get that right now? And you're like, excuse me, one moment, I'm in the middle of something, or I have a call coming in. That's not being mean and aggressive to you. That's being firm and letting you know that, excuse me, I'm not able to stop at this moment. I have a priority before you. And like you said, they said they take that for aggression. So have you ever had that where someone either took your project from you or felt that you were being aggressive because you gave a little pushback?
Yeah. I was working in a corporate office for a corporate limousine company that did celebrities and famous people and all types of stuff. And I was in the corporate office dealing with the VIPs. Like I had Newt Gingrich's cell phone and his secretary stuff, like all that. And one particular agent had called in and said, and basically said, "Oh, I need to get this project from you." And it was a project I was working on for the PGA Tour. And I'm like, "Well, what do you need it for? It's not due till, whatever." "Oh, so and so wants to see it." Okay. So I arranged all the cars, pickups, and all that kind of stuff. And I sent it to him, not thinking, just like, okay, we're supposed to be working on it together. I did my part. I don't know what you did. Next thing I know, 2 days later, it was like, "Congratulations, so and so, for the PGA Tour."
Oh
layout.
no, we
loved
not.
it. And I was like, "Why is my name not mentioned in any of this?" So I was really, it was. That
Did you
was like
speak up?
my last day. Of course, because that was like my last day. But I CC'd emails. I did everything. So there was definitely a paper trail. So when it was time to pay me, they didn't have no choice but to just let it go and pay. But and that's why I say keep your paperwork. Make sure that you are following the P's and Q's enough, to make sure that you are covered. But never let anyone, and that goes for anyone, because I know we get in situations where some of us get in positions of power and then treat our own people like less than, and it's just like, you got this on a wing and a prayer.
Humble.
Yeah, on a humble wing and a prayer. So please don't act like, now you're so much greater. I think, we get into a place where we lose that humbleness that we once had, because it's like, oh, you got a taste of power and privilege.
I like that. He's like, you got a taste of power. And I treat the janitor and I treat the owner of the company the same way.
Yeah.
If I see the janitor, I'll be like, "Thank you so much for keeping the bathroom clean. I really appreciate you." Like, I talk to him. How's your family? The same way as I do to the owner. I don't treat anyone different, because I don't want you treating me no different.
Right. At the end of the day, we all doing a job. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
You making money for somebody else at the end of the day. So you sitting up here acting like, you the head chief of what?
Not the head chief.
Who are you making money for? Is your name on the building? Absolutely not. So we all making money for the same person. So calm that down just a little bit.
Calm down. Yes, Healthy G Mom. And I didn't know this, and we're from New York. She said Central Park was owned by Black people.
Well, Black
then
people,
they took it away and turned it into a park for everybody. I did not know that.
Yeah, Black people were living there. Yeah, Black people were living there. It was almost like what they would consider a neighborhood or a ghetto. Central Park, had a lot of Black people, indigenous people lived there, and they did wipe them out, because when they started to build high rises and apartments, they didn't want to see that as they looked outside their window.
Well, we're going to talk about Black Wall Street in one moment. Let me finish reading some of these comments. So Sharon said, "Folks think we're supposed to look like Who Shot John." Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking, but honey, when you hired me, I came in like I was the owner of the company. I didn't go in like I went in and they were so like,
we're raised that way. We're raised that way. We are raised not to go out the house looking any type of way.
Okay.
My grandmother lived with us, and she still does.
Infuriating, yes.
She would snatch us up in a minute. If my mother didn't see us, she would snatch us up in a minute and say, "Don't, you're not going out there like that." And that just carried into adulthood. Like you said, you train a child the way it should go, they'll never depart from it. And it's not a thing about making sure they feel comfortable around you. It's making sure that every day when you walk outside your door, you are a representation of you. You're selling you. So,
that's right.
Whoever you encounter or interact with, make sure that you present yourself well, because you never know where
scratching. I want to say again, guys, we are having a dialogue with Christian of CCNTV. We are talking about things that are going on in the world. We're talking about political, social injustice. So again, if you get offended easily, I'm going to ask you to leave, because we're going to talk. And it's going to be our experiences. And you may be like, "Oh, why you're talking about that?" Then you don't have to be on the channel. So I do want to let everyone know, you know, this is something that needs to be said, and we are talking about it because this is a platform that he does it on his channel all the time. I don't really talk about it as much, but now I got the chance to. Oh, y'all gonna hear my mouth. Y'all know Vern is cool, but listen, I go through some stuff too because like I said, I'm the only black one. So let me tell you what happened to me. I worked at a major university, university. Only black one in the office again, which I still don't understand how this is happening. So the boss hired me. Like I said, dressed. You saw me, and I had dreadlocks at the time. So you saw me. My hair was beautiful. You saw how I came in here, right? Dressed to the nines. And she hired me. She hired me on the spot. She loved me. She loved that. No, before I got home, she was calling me. Right. About 4 or 5 months in, she starts giving me the Karen syndrome. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, I've never done anything to you. I turned this office around. The doctors love me. The nurses love me. So one day I'm sitting at my desk and I had these green plants. They're almost like ice trays, and you can make like little plants for the office. She goes, what is this? And why is all this in here? What is this dirt? And I said, oh, it's just greenery for the office because we need some color. I swear to you not. She says to me, the computers are black. Say what? 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 Wait a minute. Did I hear this right? Wow. Calm down, Vern. You take a deep breath. Woosah. You didn't hear that. I let a week go by. Now it's still bothering me. Week and a half go by. There's an Asian nurse talking to me. We're sitting at the desk, and the boss walks out, and she goes to the Asian nurse. Oh, you're bothering the help? Bitch, what? Wow. I said, you know what? The first time, shame on me. Second time, shame on you. Yeah. She went on vacation. When she came back, I was going to leave in 2 days because I had already gave my resignation. She comes back. She was like, oh, I see you putting the resignation. Is that real? I said, just as real as you went on vacation and came back, I'm going to be gone. That was fast. I said, it don't take long for me to get another job, baby. Right. I don't know who you thought you were talking to, but I know she had one more again to say something out her face. Right. Oh, and it was going to be a different story. Concrete on the floor. So before I did that and ruined my reputation, right? Because they're not going to see, even if I was right, they're going to see her bleeding on the floor and you hit her. But did you hear what she said? Right. That is offensive. So I said, you know what? My director was working for the White House at the time, and he was like, "Please don't leave. You're like the best person." I said, "You know what? With all honesty, I love you. You never did anything. You're always there for me." I said, "But her comments are going to make me punch her in her damn mouth." And I said, "I'm not a fighter. I don't fight. But some things you keep poking the bear. After a while, the bear gonna slice you, right?" Right. So I said, let me leave. And I had to leave that job. And I really enjoyed it. It was a major university. I loved it. But you know what? She was going to be on the floor because she had one more again to say something out her face to me, which was inappropriate. Right. Right. So I chose to leave on my own accord. Right. But have you ever been in a position where they may have said something and you might, all right, let me step back and maybe I didn't hear that right?
Yeah, it wasn't in regards to my race or anything, but again, I was mainly, I think it was 2 guys, and the manager at the time, she was into golf, that black, all wearing black kind of gothic culture. But she's like 50 some odd years old. And I'm thinking to myself, high school has been over for you, honey. Yep. Change it up. But she walked by the office one day and we're all in there just doing these, because at the time I was doing medical billing, and we're all just doing reports, and she walked in and she said, "Oh, that's bright. I had on a fuchsia sweater." And she said, "Oh, that's bright." And one of my friends came in because she was coming in from downstairs, and she said, "Oh, she was in there talking about you, about, oh, your colors are bright, or your sweater was bright." And I'm just like, from the same person that wears black every day, all day. Like, we need some color up in here, obviously, because she looks a little depressed. I mean,
You
at
woke
50,
her up. That's what
you
it
would
was.
think-
It's too bright. I can't.
I'm just saying, like at 50, honey, you know, that during high school, I was friends with a lot of them that wore that. You know, it was like, okay, it was a high school thing. When you grow up in full adult life, why are you wearing, I mean, all dark black, dark makeup, dark, you just
And she came to work like that?
work.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, nobody spoke to you. Nobody said, you know, can you tone that down a bit? No. But if it was us, they would have definitely told us to tone it down.
Okay, we getting ready to get deep, y'all. We getting ready to get deep. Hey, BB Scratching. How you doing? Welcome in. She said, I'm in the South. I get profiled walking out my house. Child. She needs some clear wearing black. Listen, yes. So what do you say to white people who say, why are you guys mad at the cops killing blacks when the blacks kill blacks? I know you heard this before. I know you heard this before.
More times than I care. The reason why it matters is statistically. Again, this is where we only go by what we watch and what the news reports. But statistically, black on quote unquote black crime is still lower than white on white crime and other areas. However, it just happens because of the demographic of where people are in proximity to one another. And then when you're dealing with people who are low income and other things that, you know, may exacerbate that, you come into places where people who don't have anything are stealing from other people who don't have. And that happens everywhere. But again, we dealing with media that likes to point the direction at one culture to make it look worse than the other, when the actual numbers are factual that white on white crime happens at a much alarming rate than black on black crime. But that's not, you know, that's not spoken about. And then two, yes, the accountability plays a part in that we have to take accountability for our own actions. There's no reason why we need to be going around shooting and killing each other, right? So sometimes we need to take that and, you know, talk amongst ourselves and get ourselves together and not worry about or wait until an Al Sharpton or this one or that one comes flying into town to want to talk about what's going on in the community. We need to start doing that. We need to start policing our own communities and finding out what's really going on here, because you would find out in a lot of these situations that there are other people in play that are paying a lot of these people off to create these kind of things going on.
Shut up.
Just leave it at that.
Okay, I got another excerpt from TikTok. I'm not going to show you her, but I'm going to let you hear this. Listen to this, guys. I literally fell out my chair. Hold on. Here we go.
Now that my baby cousin is gone, I just want to say, white people, quit calling the police on black people for nothing. I just had my neighbor call the police on us because I was babysitting my baby cousin, and she was crying because she's a baby, and that's what babies do. It was 9 o'clock at night. She was sleepy, and she wanted her mom, but I was babysitting, and so she cried like babies do. Got her together in less than 10 minutes. She wasn't crying no more. She was asleep. 2 episodes in, I'm watching a new Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. 2 episodes in, here come the cops knocking on the door talking about, hey, we got a concerning call about your neighbors because of a baby crying. This is the second time that my neighbors have called the police because they're concerned about normal activities that go on in houses. In summary, police kill us for less. My neighbor ain't even spoke to us. She ain't even said hello. Come on now. Now that my cousin is gone.
She in her house and a baby is crying like babies do. The thing for me is if a white person calls the cops on a black person and they come to find out that nothing is serious. I think, in my opinion, that the white person needs to be brought up on charges, at least a fine.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say they need to go to jail for 20 years now, no. But I think they at least need a fine of $2,500, $3,000, hit them in their pockets, and they'll stop this silly stupidness.
Yeah. I mean, that is very true. My issue with that altogether, even for those who may be listening, who may even be white and sometimes feel like, oh, maybe I should call the police. In this particular climate, with all that has happened with police brutality, you calling the police right now is setting a precedent.
Okay.
Because you're already saying, hey, there's a possibility that this could go left and this person could end up dead. And are you willing to take that responsibility?
Yes, at least a fine. So while we're on this subject, Christian Cooper in New York City with the bird watching in Central Park, and Amy Cooper, May 25th, he asked her to put her dog on a leash. Tell me, what is your take from what happened? Because I'm kind of a little bit upset with him, because he's like, oh no, it's okay, let her, she's gonna get enough charges from her job. No, you could have been killed, because the cops could have came, as she said, he's hitting me, a black man is hitting me, she choking her dang dog, and it was too much, too much. What is your take on that? Because she pissed me off. I'm sorry.
It's the having, we are always made to turn the other cheek, to not take it so far, to excuse their transgressions. And at no point was that excusable. In no way. Because just like she cried on that phone to that operator, them police officers would have came in that park blazing ready to fire, and that man would be dead. And then his family would be talking about, this was police brutality, this was team too much, and all of that. So for him to do that, of course, it was paying. It was that, we don't want to take this too far, kind of turn the other cheek. Even with like Botham John, his family, that was the young man in Texas where the white lady walked into the apartment claiming that she thought it was hers and killed the man. It's like, granted, I get it. You can have compassion and forgiveness for the person, but you don't need to do that. We don't need to do that, because all that shows is, no matter what you do, no matter what you do to them, after a while they'll just forgive you, and we can go on as life as usual, and it will continue to happen. No, it's okay for you to be angry. It's okay for you to feel some type of way if your rights have been violated. That is quite all right. It's not, take that anger and then do something about it that will move the needle. Don't, we can forgive, but please don't forget, so you can fall into that same place. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you can move on, you can forgive the person, move on, but also let that person know, hey, that wasn't cool, and I could have lost my life in regards to that.
Yes.
Because he clearly could have. Okay. And the magnitude of the situation is higher.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What is your take on Ahmaud Arbery? I want to hear this from a black man's perspective. I want to know, like, in your guts, what were you thinking when you heard the whole entire story, everything that happened, from everybody's point, not just one side, because we only heard one side for a long time.
Yeah.
Then the other side came out, and it was like, pick up your face. So what was your take as a black man on that?
Even the first part, I knew something was askew about what had actually happened. Because even the first part didn't quite make sense. It was really out of place. Then when all of the evidence kind of came in, it made me cautious. I won't even say scared, because I won't even give it that much power, but it made me cautious to know that as a black man, yet and still in the age of 2020, whatever, you can walk outside your house, somebody could say that they don't know you or threatened by your own existence and open fire on you, and that's okay. regardless of where it is, because we treat things like, oh, that's the South, things are different in the South. We need to stop that. That has created and fostered this attitude that we have here today, and that we continue to have, is that this attitude that in the South things are done a certain way and you have to act a certain way in the South. And if we haven't learned anything from a 13-year-old boy being mutilated and killed for whatever had happened.
Or didn't happen.
Right. For what didn't happen. From a boy. And we look at this woman who was the circle of all of this that happened to this young man. Nothing has been done. Nothing at all. Yet you can drag a Bill Cosby in.
Woo!
After, I'm not saying what he did was right, but what I'm
saying,
they were
grown people.
After
they were grown,
they were grown people. One, and two, after he had already had the deal from the DA to tell whatever he needed to tell, and they were not going to charge him. For them to renege on that was already an issue in and of itself. So you're going to drag that 80-some-odd-year-old man in jail, first of all, in court, and then put him in jail, and you're going to let this white woman live out her rest of her days and not charge her with a single thing?
Nothing.
And we're going to sit here and talk about how just this is, and have, movies and docuseries about this young man, which is important because people need to know and see this. But the fact that things like Emmett Till are still happening to our young people today, like Tamir Rice and others, and Trayvon Martin, that
Trayvon Martin, I felt like he could have been my child. That hurt me so bad.
Right. And this is so bad. Even now, his parents were being sued by George Zimmerman, the man that killed their son. Yes, he was trying to sue them for slander. Yeah, he was trying to sue them for slander. He was really trying to sue them for slander.
Yeah,
and
right.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Let's talk about this. Yes, Jesus, Sharon. Let's talk about this. And this is not even the South. And you should know what I'm talking about when I say this. Sean Bell killed on his wedding night.
Yeah, killed on the wedding night. Right.
That was New York City, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was Queens.
Yeah, that was Queens.
So,
but
this is not just happening in the South.
Yeah, but we forget about like the Amadou Diallos and the,
Oh my God, and Bumper. Remember Mrs. Bumper, the lady in the Bronx?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, this happens all over. So again, injustice anywhere is an injustice to everyone.
Come on now, that's right.
So we can't just always look at it
Sandra Bland,
as something being just here, just there. It happens everywhere, and we have to stand up, and we have to keep fighting about it. Now, do I agree with marching all the time? Hell no, because they are used to our usual. Okay, our usual is they do something, we get mad, we bring all the Al Sharptons and the whomever down to put a spotlight. They there for about 2-3 weeks, and then they go away. And then what they do is they'll give them a settlement. Okay, but the reality is the settlement is paid by who? Who's the settlement paid by? Us.
Yep.
So you have victims paying victims.
Yep. Which is ridiculous. Okay, let's talk about. And these two really, really are touching to me, even with Sandra Bland.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we cannot talk about this without talking about Mr. George Floyd. And I say Mr. because I think he deserves respect.
Yeah.
I don't care if he did crack 2 minutes before the guy killed him.
I mean,
you don't, as a human, put your knee on someone's carotid artery in their neck on the concrete, and they're yelling mama. If a black man, a white man, if a man is yelling mama, you hurting that man.
Yeah.
That man is hurt. He has given and surrendered.
Right.
And for you to be a PO, a pig, or whatever you want to call him, for you to be okay, don't let me stuck around. The overseer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't let me get KRS on y'all. The overseer. Okay.
That's
if you cannot decipher a situation, if you have not went through training, you should not be an officer of the law. Even Matt Dillon back in the day had more respect for people. Let me see if this is right. Let me do the research. Let me investigate instead of just going and shooting.
Right.
And this is on TV.
Yeah.
Come on now. This is bull crap.
Yeah, it really is. I have so many issues with that whole thing. One, it boggles me that whenever they do something like this, it's always running to training. We weren't trained properly. We didn't have the proper training to do XYZ. So the mean to tell me you was able to walk the streets and be an officer of the law. An officer of the law meaning you're upholding the law. So you were able to be an officer of the law and not have adequate training? Where is that possible when you're dealing with life and death? Can a doctor not have adequate training and end up in somebody's ER or surgery and operating on folks? I mean, where is that acceptable? That only seems to be acceptable when law enforcement does something as they do in situations like this. Two, part of that, we are so traumatized by the things and the power that the police wield, that only thing we can do is take out our phones and video. The fact that nobody even thought to say, you know what, for my brother, I may lose my life, but I'm gonna tackle this man off of this man.
If it wasn't for that young girl with the tape.
Right. And
then
that
she started getting threats for her life.
Right. And that too. It's like if it wasn't for the woman who actually recorded that and the trauma she must go through and still be going to see that and to know that you couldn't do anything. But it brought me, and I mentioned this Tuesday night, but it brought me to the thoughts of how our ancestors must have felt when they were watching their loved ones hanging from trees, from things that,
taking their child to sell and give to the
getting
man
raped or
their
whatever.
husband.
So, it's
taking us away from why we are not connected to family as much because it's in our heritage. Okay.
So
we have to talk about this
trauma.
Ms. Breonna Taylor, 26-year-old EMT, Louisville, Kentucky. In your home. We're not, and this is what I was telling you people. The video that I sent CCN, I sent it to you, Sharon. It talks about that in the video. We're not safe in our own home. We're not safe going to the store. We're not safe in Walmart. We're not, which I don't go to Walmart. We're not safe at work. We're not freaking safe driving a vehicle and we're doing nothing.
Right. We're not even safe in our own churches.
We're innocent.
We're not safe in our own churches.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Well, it doesn't apply to us
take this
because
and
we're
use
guilty.
it as your own. We're guilty until proven innocent. That's not the law. That's not liberty justice. The lady is not like this. The lady, come on. But
that's when if when you look at me, you don't see yourself, then you won't, the same regard you hold for yourself and people that look like you won't hold for me. And that's really what it boils down to. Sad but true. Even with Breonna Taylor, I've said this before. Breonna Taylor, I think that was a robbery.
You think the cops was robbing her?
I think the cops were robbing the ex-boyfriend because they were surveilling him, and he was utilizing her address, just throwing it out there. But he dibbled and dabbled in selling of drugs, and they were really just going for the money. Personally, it's just my theory on this, but I think that they were going for money, and he had mentioned that in whatever recording that they were listening to, that's where the money was being stashed.
I believe so.
And then,
so we're going to talk about two more quick topics, and then we're going to talk about Black Wall Street, and we're going to end. So Rodney King, I know you know about that. What do you think? Because that was what, 80s when that happened with Rodney King?
No, that was 90s.
Okay, 90s. So think about it. Of course, we went through this in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and still to the 20,000. With Rodney King, I when you think about these things, if you don't get disgusted, you're not human. I don't care if he was drinking and drunk. You can't decipher how to take down an 80-year-old lady without shooting her fingers off. You don't know how to take down a person that's drunk without putting their face in the ground. If you can't stop a drunk person and you are the law, you shouldn't be the law, baby. Because you should have better knowledge or know. You don't know how to handle a 12-year-old kid where you think that you don't know that he's mental. He's in the park playing and he's just doing this and you think he got a gun. How is? Come on, people. We gotta stay woke, as the title says.
Yeah, I with Rodney King, even they always justify their action with, well, he's intoxicated. He wasn't what they say all the time. He wasn't adhering, or he wasn't just going along with what the officer's saying. And it's just like, okay. There's plenty of cases where people have and have not. That are others, and they've been able to live.
The other ones, the clear ones, when they yell at the cop and spit in their face and tear the ticket up in front of them and get out their car and slam their door, run them
pull
over.
Off.
Come on
pull
now.
off and nearly run them over. None of that matters. None of that matters. So even in the age of Rodney King, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. No training has changed. And you start to be like, well, if you're not doing anything to rectify the situation or the problem, then you need to be defunded. Then something needs to be done because it's not working. And nobody's saying we're gonna be lawless, because that's not the premise. But
I still
obviously,
think that they all need training from a recruit up until they are let go, however long it takes, a year, 2 years. They need to have training on how to handle certain races, because every race has a different. If I say to you, hey, the N-word, it's different than when the other one, like, you need to know you need to have training. I'm sorry. It just needs. Do you remember the story of Johnny Gamage that was here? He was from upstate New York, but he got killed in, I think it was Philadelphia, in Pittsburgh, by the police.
No.
Yeah, that was a big story too. The same thing. Now, I used to work at the hospital here where I'm at now, a big hospital. And the guy that used to work with me worked in facilities. Awesome. Black guy. Great. So one day I was watching the news and you hear about the cops beating up somebody. I'm like, oh my God, who they done hurt now? Why it was him? They literally almost defigured his face. I didn't even know who he was. I see this man every day. I literally did not know who he was. But the cops go, oh, we came and he was disrespectful. So that caused for you to almost take his life because he said, get off of my porch?
Yeah. Because
beat his face and everything, but he did sue. He did
sue. It's the authority. It's what comes with the badge. It's that sense of, and that's the problem, that in defunding, a lot of these officers need to be vetted out because they have these underlining prejudices and biases towards people anyway. So you cannot be policing or be in a position of authority upon a group of people that you already have disdain for. It was like, why would you choose that? Why would you choose to come in an area that you already don't care for the people? Why not stay in your own area and police your own systems? But see, even that used to be a way. Back in the day, there used to be black police officers in black neighborhoods and white police officers in white neighborhoods. But then, of course, with everything, when you find out, well, there's money somewhere, they always seem to find out where there's money and want to switch things around and kind of integrate it, and it all goes left. But that's really what happened.
Vernell says, you better say that 3 times on Sunday, seeing our ancestors hanging on trees and taking our children just to humiliate us. And you don't think that black people have trauma? When a white child is killed in a school, the first thing they do is, we're sending out a therapist and we're going to get them therapy. Well, what about when our black kids see this George Floyd, Breonna Taylor? I ain't heard y'all say nothing about we going to the schools to give them therapy. I didn't hear that. Now, let me take it back. I didn't hear it. Maybe somebody else heard it.
I didn't hear it.
Okay, because I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
And that ain't trauma?
Yeah.
That's trauma.
Mm.
So when you see it every day, I'm going to tell you guys again, thank you for being here. This is a topic on social injustice. If you are easily offended, I'm going to ask you to leave. But other than that, thank you for being here. Please share it out if you can. My mods, you're awesome. Thank you for being here. If you're new and you're just coming in, hello. Hey, Jeffrey Angel, how are you? I want to let you guys know we are dialoguing with Christian of CCNTV. His YouTube channel link is pinned to this live stream. The mods are dropping it, and it's also in the description of this video. If you go on a replay, you will see it there. All you have to do is click his link and go to his channel. So at this time, before we close, guys, we got like another 30 minutes. We're probably going to be on this for 30 minutes. We're going to talk about Black Wall Street. So I'm going to read to you guys what it says. It says Tulsa Race Massacre, right? Took place. I hope I'm reading the right thing. Hold on. I hope I'm reading the right thing. I put in Black Wall Street. That's what it said. Oh, yeah. The Tulsa Race Massacre took place on May 31st and June 1st, 1921, when mobs of white residents, some of whom have been deputized and given weapons by city officials, attacked Black residents and destroyed homes and businesses of the Greenwood district in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So, what do you think about us as a people now trying to start another one? Because I think it's good that we should, but I also think that some of us are going to be like, oh, no, that's my money. No, that's my money. It's not about my money. It's about our money. It's about us having a neighborhood and having our own stores and having our own food and having our own do you get it? And some people don't. So what do you think about that?
No, I mean, I get it. I think it's a great idea. That is the way it used to be. And it didn't, there wasn't a hateful thing. It was just everybody, the money circulated in their own communities as they do in other places. That's why you have a Chinatown. That's why you have a Little Italy. That's why you have all these other places.
Shut up. We from New York. We know about that.
Right. It's because the money circulates in their own communities. And I think in doing that, yes, it's a great idea. Now, on the other side of that, yes, I know it's more expensive, and it's more expensive because the products are more when they have to, get the merchandise. It's going to be more. They're going against larger conglomerates, so of course it's going to be more. Unfortunately, that is how the game is played until we are able to really put a nail in it to really change the system. I mean, that it is what it is. We are the largest. We spend the most. We make this economy move as much as they, like to act like we don't. We do. That's why when they throw out a stimulus check, they know that you're going to spend it. They know that you're going to spend it without hesitation. So that's why they do it. But yeah, I think, we need to start supporting each other. Yes, sometimes you could sit there and go, that's a little bit astronomical as far as the price, and I could go somewhere else and get the same thing from another counterpart for less. But at the end of the day, know that person's product, all the merchandise that they have to buy to actually give you the product that you're looking for, is going to cost more coming from their end, because the other person has already got the deal to make the most and give you something for a little less. However, the profit margin is huger on their end because they're dealing with a larger corporation.
When a Black company is trying to sell hair and you getting it from the Asians, believe me, stop asking the Black beauticians for a hookup like Brooklyn Mac said, because they are charged more. Listen, y'all don't get it.
Because that's their competition. That's their competition, and they know it. So they're going to hike up the prices on their competition, so they won't be competition anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they're going to pay twice as more to get the same product that you would if you went to an Asian beauty supply store and get it for a lot less. Of course.
But you don't ask them for no hookup. You don't ask them to give you a discount, because they're going to tell you, no, the price is the price. Come on now, as much money as you've been spending, and they never gave you no discount. So what would make it any different? That's right.
Yeah.
Vernell said, did anyone see where the police disrespected this disabled guy? He was a paraplegic and he couldn't walk, and the police dragged him out of his car instead of calling his supervisor for help. And innocent, Jesus.
Yep. Well, they even shot a man who was in a wheelchair.
There have been over 25 other attacks on different locations throughout history. Yes.
Yeah. Different
Always
other.
When I turn away, listen. It's okay, Sharon. It's okay. Hey, Mo said so. How are you? I'm late. Gonna catch up. Thank you. But yeah, we wanted to say, because just like YouTube, I give out information. I'm here to help everybody. Yes, I can charge you, but why should I charge you? Like, I get this information for free anyway. So that's one thing, because I just did the research. I could charge you for me doing the research, but why when I could just help you to grow? And then when I do charge you, you're going to say it's too much. You want the hookup. So I might as well just go ahead and give it to you free, but I get it back on other ends. Like, people give me super chats, super thanks, super stickers. They send me gifts in the mail. So I do get financial gain in different ways. You know, since I've been monetized, I've never missed a check. I've had a check every month. So, you know, there's some people that's been monetized that don't even get a check. Yeah. Right. They don't even get checks. Yeah. And I'm like, you know, I have memberships, I offer things, I do stuff. So it's, you know, there's things, yes, I'm going to have to charge you for it. Like my t-shirts, that's my business. Yes, I'm going to charge you for that. Yes, I'll give you a discount, you know, 15% off or 20% off or free shipping. But to give you information to help you, I'm not charging you for that. That's just my thing. Right. When I need to, I will, but most of the time I won't. Being a Black business owner, folks want discounts all the time. Listen, Sharon. Yeah, but they don't ask the counterparts for the discount, because they take the prices of what it is, and that's the part that is the service comes in, because again, before we didn't have that issue. It was. You know, we had our own businesses. We had our own, you know, clothing stores and our own grocery stores and all that. And again, once you saw where there's more money to be made, then everything got, you know, turned around. We even talk about churches. Churches were the mega center of any movement. Anything that was moving in the community always came through the church. The church was able to fund a lot of things for the movement. Of course, they saw. Well, now wait a minute. Now I kind of gotta say something. This funny, but it's true. Think about it. Yes, the churches did that, but why they ain't got that damn doorknob for that building fund yet? They've been holding that building fund for 25 years, and y'all ain't got the doorknob yet. Well, that building fund comes from people seeing, you know, the money. You know what I'm saying? When you look past the mission. You know, when you look past the mission and look to the money, you're gonna keep seeing those building funds, because that's not what they're building. Because when you see the parishioners still taking the bus, right? When you see the parishioners still taking the bus and doing all this, and the pastor's driving while the parishioners driving top notch of the line, right? They want a plane. I'm not buying you no airplane. That's just ridiculous. Get out of here with that. That's ridiculous. Come on now. Because they don't want the spirits on the commercial airlines to engage with them. Isn't that what you do? Is that your job? Yeah. Yeah, but then when Hurricane Katrina happened, please don't talk to me about open his church. How you don't want to open your church for somebody in a crisis, and you supposed to be a man of God? Well, because they preach in prosperity. They're not preaching true Christian values about helping your fellow man. They I would not be going back to that church. You pray and God will see all this I got. God will give it to you too. If you just pray to him, he'll give it to you too. Same reason why he's holding out his hand. And again, the parishioners are walking and they can't. Hello, and I'm taking the bus and you driving. Come on now, Xfinity 725 KAM. With an unexplainable amount of $20,000 cemented in your bathroom, trying to figure out how that. Shut up! No, heated floors. It's just crazy. And I'm not talking about them, but you know that there are some out there that is pertains to. This is what they do. Yeah, but you know, but I think we as a people I believe we have come a little bit farther thanks to the help of Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, Al Sharpton, people of that era. I feel that some of us are not interested in helping the next person. We more want to pull them down. Not everyone. Now, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying I don't see those. Who is the leader now? Who is the person I could look at and be like, wow, that's a young Malcolm X. Like, I don't see that prevalent besides Al Sharpton. Okay, so Al Sharpton is getting up in age. Who is the next political person that you could say is similar to them? I don't see it.
Well, I wouldn't even put that category with Al Sharpton, but that's just me. But other than that, I just say I don't see.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't. The reason why I guess it's not seen or we don't see it even in our lifetime is it's that same trauma. You've put it forth to where if anybody does step up, we'll take them out of here. So try it and see what happens to you. You know what I'm saying? So you've put it out there. You made it known. I wish somebody would. It would be great. But then why do we need? And this is the problem too that I think we have. We always need a leader to speak for the people. If we all came together, we can make one voice.
That's right.
Because again, they come together and make one voice when they want to get things done. We could do the same. We have so much infighting because again, people just want to be on top. They don't really care about the system, don't really want it to change. They just don't want it to be them. They want somebody else to be, and they wouldn't mind it. So yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something that just happened in my area. Yes, Brooklyn, the price is the price. That's what they're gonna say.
Yeah.
Most said the pastors do good, like when they wanted to kick at Sharpton out of the courtroom, and all the pastors came out to support Ahmaud Arbery. Yeah. His mom. It is to our best interest to have multiple leaders. Well, I don't think we have any that in my opinion, that I could say is standing up to or close to Martin Luther King. He was a leader. He was a leader. Period. He was a leader of that time. I don't see anybody in this era that I can say, oh, yeah, you know what? Call that person. I know you said not Al Sharpton, but I'm saying I don't see nobody that we can say, yeah, call that person. They're going to stand up and fight. I don't see a name that I know. So what I was trying to think what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought. Jeez. So in the area I live in, and I want to say the right name. I don't want to offend anyone. The Arabs, is that what they call? The people from Iran and Iraq. What are they called?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Or Palestinian, I think.
Yeah, one of them. They all have stores. We from New York. They all got a store on the corner. Okay.
Right.
So one of them were killed. Unfortunately, rest in peace to him. And a black guy went in the store. I don't know if they had a robbery or they had a fight or argument, whatever. The guy shot him and killed him. Right. So. Don't you know they close all their stores for 8 hours from 8 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon? And guess what we did right after they opened up? Ran right back to their store to buy something. Yeah. And I said, let all of us get together to try to close our store. I ain't closing my store. You making me miss money. I ain't closing my store. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Listen, we have to be a unit. We have to stick together because don't you know it's better in unity?
Yeah.
We don't. I feel we don't have that.
No, we don't. We don't because we were, as always, we were inundated by the trinkets of having more. Oh, look, I get this. Oh, well, I made it. I don't need to help you. Help yourself. Figure it out. And it's just like, but somebody helped you. That's
right.
Yeah, and back in those days, even the celebrities, they were helping the movement because they were going through the same situations, even with the money and the popularity that they did have and was able to obtain. They still were discriminated against. So they knew what it was like. We've come into an age where some people claim they don't know what it's like.
Yeah. If you guys have a question for our guests, we got about another 20 minutes. Please put a green heart and ask your question. And you can ask him if you want to ask him about his channel, about, how did he get into this? So about your YouTube channel, do you have merch?
No, I don't have any merch yet.
Okay. What made you start a YouTube channel?
Funny enough, my friends was always asking me when something political was happening, what's going on, what does that mean? I read this, I heard this, explain it. So that's really, and I got tired of always answering the phone or kind of having that discussion. So it was like, if I put it here, then you can go and view it and at your own time, and you don't have to ask me, or you'll know a little bit. So when you do ask me something else and pertaining to it, you'll have a basis, so we can really have a discussion and you can get it.
So what would you say was the best live stream that you had that just like literally either touched your heart, made you laugh, or just was a good, conversation? What would you say on your channel was the best one?
Oh, that's tough.
Stands out to you.
That's tough. I have a lot of them, but I think the most recent one, I was addressing someone who said some disparaging things about me, and I really just opened up about my life and how I came to be and all that stuff. And that was good because it wasn't something I was hiding, but it's not what I do. I come here to talk about the issues. We talk about social injustice, politics. I want you to vote. I want you to do this. So I'm not really that like, oh, follow me on my life. Like, it's not that. But at that point, I just felt like, okay, you're trying to paint me out to be a person that I'm not. So I'm gonna stop you right here. This is what it is. This is why it is. And that was it. And hopefully it helped my audience just see me and not necessarily see.
Whoa, my whole house just shook. Jeez.
Oh, wow.
That's how strong the wind is. Lord have mercy.
That, they just got to see me and a different version of me. So that's it. But I would say all of my videos have a sense of humor to them too, because politics can be a bit unnerving and it could make you go into a headspace just because, it's dealing with people's lives and things. But you try to bring light sometimes to dark situations, but knowledge is key. And as my mother used to say, once you have it, that's something that no one can take from you. Yeah. There's no piece of paper that can determine your wealth of knowledge. Your knowledge is your own. It's your power, as Malcolm X would say. So,
And Malcolm X and I have the same birthday, May 19th. And I got that picture with him doing this with the ring. Yeah, I love me some Malcolm X now. Yes. So do you only talk about Black injustices on your channel, or you talk about the white ones? And what I mean by that is like the school shooter that just happened. Like, would you do a live on that and talk about it, or would you not?
I would sometimes, but my thing is just to promote our people into getting more involved. I don't have a problem with talking about other issues and other race issues, because I talk about international news and all that too. But when it comes down to really having my people be aware of the history that this nation has put upon us and continuously do, that is my thing. So I want you to, if you go to the polls, and when you go to the polls, which I hope you all do, you go with a different level of understanding and purpose. Yeah.
Okay, so Sharon's question is, what burns your biscuits in terms of social injustice? What made you the most passionate about sharing?
Burns my biscuit the most is the police shootings. That burns my biscuit the most. Because they don't have to happen. They happen just on in very basic terms. Is fear. You know what I'm saying? Fear and prejudice. But you won't say it because they refuse to say what it is. And that's the only kudos I guess I can give to that former person that left the White House, is that he didn't care that he said something or did something in color. It didn't matter to him. He was going to say it because that's what he felt, and that was it. There was no apologies given. And it's so frustrating that you have all these things that happen to people in situations, and there's no accountability. There's not even an officer to say, you know what, I am sorry I did that. It's always an explanation for an action that had no purpose.
Try to make the person look
Yeah,
down.
right. Try to always make the victim the villain. It's like, how do you do that? How do you victimize the victim over and over
like
again?
Amadou Diallo, he just was going into his house and pulling out his wallet, and you shoot him. The young man in the car, the cafeteria worker.
Right.
You told him to get his ID, and he's getting it, and you just light him up.
Yeah,
like what?
That's it. And then I thought he was reaching for a gun. What, did you see one? And he also told you he was an authorized gun user, right?
Hello.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, that burns me too. That burns. Hey, Happy Crappy, how are you? Welcome in. So, guys, we got like 8 more minutes because I want to be mindful of his time. We've been on for almost 2 hours. Again, if you have a question, ask it now. I'm going to give you 5 more minutes. Ask your question. He is CCNTV. It's his YouTube channel. It is pinned to the top of this live stream. It's also in the description. Go and check him out. He's also one of Vernes Young Closet Kings. Go check out that video. And if you are into political injustice and you want to know more and you want somebody that's intelligent, someone that's going to give you the truth, someone that's going to do the research, hit my brother up because that is what he do. Okay. Check out his channel. He has great conversations over there. I'm in the chat when I can. When I see him on, I try to pop in and you get so much information. And I love what you are doing. And I'm so happy that we have connected because I knew there was a reason. I'm like, why am I so connected to him? See, I'm telling you, it's a reason for everything. I don't believe everything is coincidence. I believe some things are fate. Right. Some things are meant. And look, we didn't even know. We went to the basically the same high school right next to each other. It was like you couldn't pass Jamaica without going to Edison. So ain't no way.
No way. No way. You had to walk up that hill and down it every day.
My, that hill, Lord. Woo, that hill was no joke. That hill was no joke. And also, you know, the Asians that went to that school over there, growing up, I was like, why they got their own school? Why we don't got our own school?
Yeah. I didn't really, growing up, elementary school, I went to an all-black school. I went to PS 223 in Sufton. That was all black for a while. I think after I graduated, they started to have more other races in school. But and that's where I, you know, African dance and the Black National Anthem and just affirmations every day. So when I went into junior high school, what they now call middle school now, you know, I already had a sense of self. I already knew who I was and, you know, where I came from. And I watched every documentary that I could. So, you know, and I think that's important for our young people and for, you know, those of us not so young. You can never stop learning and knowing more about yourself.
Did you have white teachers when you were in school?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because I didn't know if you had white teachers like in elementary or only when you got in
elementary school. They were mostly black, except in 6th grade. I had she was Spanish. Oh yeah, her husband was Spanish. Her last name was Morales, but she looked more like a white woman. But yeah, mostly in elementary school, they were black. All of my teachers were black.
Okay. So Vernell says, how did you get into social injustice and what happened? Is that really irritated to that too, wanted to be a part of it? And I'm not talking about the past. I'm talking about the present. Listen, how did you get into
everything?
And what happened?
Trayvon Martin really kind of sparked it. I mean, I've always been concerned about social injustice and things of that nature because this just how I've always been. But watching trial after trial and people go free and things go unanswered, it really started to get to me to a point where, like, okay, we can't just sit back and act like, you know, this is not happening. Because this could be any one of us. This could be any one of our children. This could be one of our nieces, nephews. This is no way that this, you know, as much political power that we hold right now, because that's slipping away too.
Yeah.
We need to do something. We need to really, fight back and lift every voice. If we were ever going to lift every voice, this is a moment where we need to do so.
What did you think? I know you say you don't normally talk on this, but I just got to ask you, what did you think of the young guy that shot up the church and then they actually sat him down and took him to Burger King?
I was infuriated.
I was like, are you freaking kidding me?
But again, that goes to what all I've been saying the whole night. That when they saw him, they didn't see a murderer. They saw, oh, that's my nephew. That's my son. That's da-da-da. So I'm going to da-da-da-da-da. And they'll excuse it like, oh, he was hungry. He was this. How many other hungry assailants have you arrested, didn't give them a drink of water or nothing, or they wind up dying in the back of your squad car because you didn't care to check on them to see what was going on with them when they were in medical distress? None.
What are your thoughts on Sandra Bland?
Another case of
totally. That case was. I'm sorry, that lady didn't do that to herself.
No, she didn't. But it was a way for them to cover up. Because first of all, they're always scared when they know that a swarm of media and everything's going to come into the little town and expose the way things have been in their little towns for as long as it's been, because nobody speaks up. So that's one thing. Do I think that woman killed herself? Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. Because if she died from the way that man slammed her on that concrete. That's how she could have died.
Do you remember the young black girl? I want to say it was in Vegas, but I don't think it was Vegas. And they found her in the desert, but they found her dead in the desert. They said she was mental. They released her from the jail in the middle of the night, and then they found her in the desert. Her name started with an M. I want to say Michelle something. I might be saying her name wrong. I'm going to look it up. And
I don't recall that. Okay. I don't recall that one. But even still, those cases and situations, I don't necessarily buy that, because I just know that, again, there's a system where this has gone unchecked.
Yes.
For so long.
Brooklyn Max said we are the most forgiving. And I get that part. But some things, I'm sorry, only God can forgive you on some things.
It's the religion, though. It's how we are inducted in religion that, we have to forgive. If we don't forgive, God won't forgive us. So he's like, oh, God, I don't want God not to forgive me. Let me hurry up and forgive these. And it's just like, understand this was all created. This was created to keep that kind of servitude master kind of mentality going. We have to break free of that. And it's okay not to be angry with someone who has wronged you. You don't have to go and commit violence towards them, but it's okay to be angry in your own time and deal with your own pain and hurt. We don't always have to, turn the other cheek and forget about it just because they say so. They don't. They don't. They quick to tell you, remember 9/11, remember this, remember that. It's always remember something that involves them, but it's never remember something that they.
Because they quick to tell us forget about slavery, but the Holocaust. How do you think that is much more different than that? It was still dozens and dozens and thousands of people. It doesn't matter their color. To me, the Holocaust and slavery is almost equal. I'm not going to say it's equal, but it was almost equal in the amount of people that were killed by another person's hand. So don't you dare tell me forget about slavery, but you putting Holocaust all in my face. No, they're both in the same realm of unjust.
Right. It was just that, like the one woman said, Holocaust was on film. Slavery was not filmed. So you didn't get to see it. It's almost like folklore at this point. So it's really like,
so they ain't on camera. It didn't happen.
Did that really happen? Yeah. We're not playing that game. Because obviously we know that stuff that happens actually on camera still gets debunked as, oh, he didn't mean it that way, or that's not what he said. How he said it, how it was said, or she said it. So what do you mean? So don't they can say
that's right. That's right. So guys, thank you all for being here. Everybody that came in the chat, the mods, the members, thank you for your questions. I'm gonna give Christian just a few seconds to say what he want to say about himself and his channel, And please check them out. The list pinned is in the chat, in the description, and the mods dropped it. So, Christian, tell them what you want them to know about you, when you go live, when you upload. I'm going to drop down for a minute. I'm going to let you talk to them.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me yet again. It was a pleasure. I was very much honored to be here. I do politics and wellness on Tuesday nights, usually around 8:30, 8:45. That schedule usually depends. And also I do the roundtable, which is a discussion with other men from the LGBT community on Sunday nights at 8. And usually other than that, you'll catch me around here and there. If something comes up or some breaking news, I may do something as well. But I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you to Brother Nate, who is my co-host for Politics and Wellness, also my moderator. Thank you so much for being here. And that's all I got to say. And hope to see you. And thank you for those who have subscribed. Appreciate you.
So how often do you go live?
I usually go live right now, just the Tuesdays and Sundays. So that's about it.
What time?
So Tuesdays, it is like 8:45. That usually fluctuates depending on my schedule because I usually come straight from work and get on. So it all depends on how my schedule is working. Yeah, so those are the only times currently that I do that. I used to do the midday news. I'm going to start back doing that, but the work schedule was pretty hectic with the fluctuation of all that was going on with the quarantine and everything. So I had to kind of put that on hiatus a little bit, but I usually do a midday news, which is a recording, and I'll just be in the chat with the news going.
Okay. And what time on Sunday?
8 o'clock. And that's
and this is Eastern time, guys.
Yeah,
Eastern
Standard Time. And this is YB Entertainment News. That's his channel. I'll put the link in my description in my community wall so you can see that. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Sharon. She put it in there. Thank you so much. And again, guys, please go check out Christian CCNTV. I enjoy him so much. I can't remember how I met him, but I just been hooked when I met him. And I like it over there.
I think I just popped onto your thing. You were doing like a channel grab thing, and I just popped on, and I think ever since we've just been.
Yeah. So we are from the same hood, baby. So I'm really like loving him now. I cannot believe you are from Queens. I'm just like stoked. Like I'm super excited. But at this time, guys, we are getting ready to close out. I thank you again to my guest, Christian from CCNTV, for being here. Guys, please go check out his channel. Show him some love. Y'all know how I do. Today is a good day to have a great day. Never stop dreaming. Manifest that ish. And remember to go out there and be kind to someone and spread love and spread light. I'm going to play a quick clip of my merch. It's really short. I want you guys to go check it out. Give me 1 second. It's really, really short. Hold on. Thank you guys so much again for being here. And I will see you on the next one. Check me out on Friday where I will be interviewing Coach Dave Jones. I love you guys. And you guys stay safe. I love you guys. Bye, everybody. Hold on, Christian.
All right.